Greetings, Earthlings, and welcome to your weekly dose of newsy infotainment. It's Let's Be Treasonable, coming to you from the luxurious studios of Radio Titans in Los Angeles, with your cognitive dissidents on the panel. Joining us for her first time on the show. Very excited to have her here, comedian Jessica Abrams.
Hello.
Hey.
I'm so happy to be here.
Right on. Welcome. Very glad to have you here. And joining us once again, comedian, TV writer, and meme creator extraordinaire, Josh Greenberg.
Hello. Nice to be here.
Hello. Nice to be here. Well, it is America in Crisis Day 121. And first thing, I guess, since we do talk about the week in review, first, in introducing the panel, there's so many things going on, so much caffeine running through my veins. Three Jews walk into a podcast studio. For anyone who is listening to the show, still counts. It does. It's like why I frequently explain on the show that I don't consider myself white, because enough white people told me you're not one of us. However, looking at me on the outside, pretty much anyone who doesn't know me is going, "Oh, white guy." So half a Jew still counts to the people who would use that against us. And so to anyone who would use that against us or thinks that today's panel is representative of the Jews taking over the media, I would like to start by saying Happy Ramadan. You can take that however you'd like. So we are here. Ramadan is beginning this week, despite Donald Trump speaking about Islam in Saudi Arabia earlier this week. He's still in Sicily, I guess, going to be coming back to the States. Big question on my mind is, do you think Don Jr. and Eric plan to put a bomb on the plane? Like, Dad's gone, Ivanka's gone. If we just get rid of this plane, it can all be ours.
I like the idea that they're throwing a huge rager at the White House. That's
Kegger.
That's a movie right there. But no, I don't think they'd want to hurt dear Dad. They love him. He's their connection.
He's the meal ticket.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
exactly.
I don't think they're smart enough either.
Do you think they're in the will?
Maybe as one person.
Right.
Yeah, there's just sort of a lump sum of Don Jr., Eric, and Tiffany.
I don't know if Tiffany.
It's kind of like the original theme song to Gilligan's Island, where it was like everyone was named except for Marianne. It was the movie star, Presser, and all the rest.
That's
like all the rest. There's one more.
Oh,
but yeah, so that's probably how Trump sees his children, is Ivanka and all the rest.
Right. Oh, dear God.
Frightening. Well, speaking of all the rest, Josh, you said before the show that you woke up this morning, eagerly checked the news to find out what's going on with the investigation into Russia and Jared Kushner.
Yeah, I mean, it feels like now when you watch the news, it's just bombshell upon bombshell, and
sometimes literally.
Yes, indeed. Mm-hmm. And so last night the big story broke. I guess it was the Washington Post that broke the story that Jared Kushner had requested a secret back channel direct before the inauguration, and so that's weird.
Well, what I think is particularly weird about it is that he, because as General McMaster pointed out, and I think it's a weak defense coming from a general, but he says, hey, governments, form, back channel relationships with countries all the time. What I think is significant about this is that we normally do that with our allies. And B, this was seeking back channel communications for the Trump transition team,
right,
not for the established government. So this is kind of one of those, hey, were you colluding with foreign powers that do not have the country's best interests in mind before you were in a position to do that? It's what basically brought Flynn down.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Not only was it just a pre-administration and that they weren't in office yet, but he is so vastly inexperienced. Like, I keep wondering who is this guy? He's a real estate heir, and this somehow gives him reign over all these sort of all the international policy. It's very, very strange to me. Someone on the news last night was like, this is either incredibly naive or incredibly stupid. Maybe both.
I was going to say, I think it can be both.
Yeah. Isn't it? But I'm just, as I'm hearing all this and as I've been reading, it feels a parallel to like Scooter Libby a little bit. Like,
yeah.
There's always that one person who takes the fall who's not the brightest bulb. I mean, Oliver North, although he actually was a general, but it's. I just wonder how much he initiated on his own rather than he's part of. I mean, he's part of something else. He's going to take the fall. Hopefully, it'll bring everyone else down. No, I mean, don't you think?
Yeah, but I think having Kushner as the fall guy, of course, blame the Jews. That's how things go down with white folk like Trump.
Yeah,
but
fall guy, by the way, would be a great reboot of a TV show. The classic Lee Majors.
Do you get Heather Thomas to reprise her role?
Yeah.
And the one thing, I am definitely intrigued by that. Do you get Lee Majors to do the theme song again, because he did the theme song of the original, or do you have Jared Kushner do the theme song as the new star of the show?
Maybe it's a duet.
There you go.
Wow.
Yeah.
I think we could be. It could be sort of a melange of the Fall Guy and the Rockford Files, where Lee Majors will play Rocky. He'll be like Jared Kushner's dad, the former stuntman.
Right.
Used to solve crimes.
Yeah.
By the way, here's every millennial listening to this. What?
I know.
Who?
No, I know. Totally.
Ask your parents and Google it, kids.
Yeah.
But thanks for listening.
Right.
Yeah.
It's a good show. Well, one thing that I was talking to Jessica about before the show started that I think is one of those conspiracy theories that just seems entirely viable is that maybe this has been the master plan all along. Get involved with Russia, get everything set up so Trump can finally get Jared out of the way and have Ivanka all to himself.
You're joking.
Partially.
Right,
that's the thing about the age of Trump is that like so many things as jokes before his administration
True.
now have, the ring of possibility.
Yeah, that's really fascinating. Well, Jared's dad is in prison, right?
Yeah, imprisoned by Chris Christie.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Which makes, no question about why Christie didn't get a cabinet position or really anything.
Right.
Yeah.
But I mean, that would just be so delightfully ironic if Jared ends up in prison too.
That's another TV show, Cellmates with his dad.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's,
Absolutely.
oh my God.
Kushner and Kushner.
Yeah. Yeah.
Next season on Prison Break.
Right.
How about that, millennials? You get that one?
Oh God. Yeah.
It's somewhat ironic in a Alanis Morissette sort of way, like ironic but not really irony. That for the last 8 years under Obama as president, with all the bullshit conspiracies and the things that sounded like they had no basis in reality, largely because they didn't.
Yeah.
Take it straight out of Trump's attack book. Let's start with the birther thing.
Yep.
Secret Muslim born in Kenya. Like, what the hell? There no way anyone of sound mind would even consider that.
Mm-hmm.
But they did.
To be within the realm of truth. Well, yeah, but that proof that they don't have sound minds.
True.
But the thing about, we all joke about, Trump wanting to bang his daughter, even though he's pretty much said that over the years. If she wasn't my daughter, he literally said, if she wasn't my daughter, I'd be dating her. And So, my point being that all the conspiracy theories about presidents before this really, when you looked at them at face value, just sounded like bullshit to anyone who had the capability of thought. The stuff that, the conspiracy theories coming out around Trump's administration, they all have a nugget of truth. There's a kernel of truth in there.
Mm-hmm. Well, what I think is so funny is when I have the Fox News for a minute or so before retching, their
Retching Carlson?
Yes, their angle on it is this is preposterous. Especially, they say MSNBC is peddling this crazy conspiracy theory, and it's like, dude, that is how your network completely found its footing. Roger Ailes, of course, died. Was that this week or
last week?
Mm-hmm. And there was this really great piece by someone about how Roger Ailes and his network stole his grandfather from him, and this whole generation of viewers who sort of tuned into Fox and sort of
mistook it for news.
Yeah, bought into just this paranoia, that's that the network peddles. So yeah, it is really, really funny that now they're dismissing the Russia connection as preposterous conspiracy. Yeah.
Well, they got to protect their guy, and like it or not, Trump is their guy. Right. They set themselves up as a partisan, finger quotes intended, news outlet. But it's interesting seeing what's happening to them. Because Ailes died, but he was out, because of the sexual harassment scandal. Bill O'Reilly out because of the sexual harassment scandal. Now advertisers are running away from Sean Hannity, who's basically, without O'Reilly gone, Hannity is like the anchor of their evening programming. And he's been pushing this bullshit conspiracy theory about, this sounds so disrespectful. I can't remember the kid's name.
Is it
Seth Rich?
Yeah.
Who was working for the DNC, and the fine folks who brought you Pizzagate are pushing a conspiracy that he was actually murdered because he was communicating with WikiLeaks, so the DNC took him out, which no root in truth whatsoever, distressing his family. Advertisers are fleeing Hannity. Fox is quickly becoming a shell of the powerhouse that it has. Bizarre to see under a batshit crazy conservative. It's.
Do you know what's really scary though? I agree, but apparently, MSNBC is kind of angling to fill that void now.
Yeah.
And they're actually it looks like Lawrence O'Donnell is going to go. And the guy that's now head of, I can't remember his name, it starts with a B, who's now head of MSNBC, he's very conservative. So I think that, there's, maybe Fox, I think it's happy to see that Fox is, kind of crumbling, but I do worry that, in the name of, business, someone else is going to jump in there and,
and also the Sinclair Broadcasting Group, conservative Christian group out of Baltimore, I think, who have been buying up stations all around the country. There's talk that they plan to launch their own,
a more
right-wing,
more conservative network than Fox News. Right?
Yeah, although Boris Epshteyn, former Trump advisor, was on Bill Maher last week and said, no, we're not starting a network. We're just, doing common programming on all our owned and operated stations. It's like, okay.
Yeah.
Doesn't sound like a network to me.
Right.
No.
Yeah.
But that's, that I think is what people are getting used to. That is becoming normalized. The whole Orwellian doublespeak that has become the norm for the Trump administration. And so many things are getting normalized. We're talking about the decline